If you've ever looked at a skyscraper and thought that belongs on a watch dial, you're in the right place, because today we're diving into the world of Art Deco, where design, glamour and geometry collide to create everything from the Chrysler building to the Reverso. Picture this, it's 1925, jazz is blaring, champagne is flowing, and everyone's suddenly obsessed with geometry. Triangles everywhere, zigzags on everything. If it wasn't sleek, shiny and symmetrical, it simply wouldn't do. Welcome to Art Deco, the design movement that made the world look like the future and left its mark on everything from skyscrapers to cigarette cases to, you guessed it, wristwatches. You've probably seen Art Deco architecture, the Chrysler building in New York with its gleaming stainless steel crown, the Hoover building here in London looking like a particularly glamorous factory, and Claridge's with its black and white lobby that screams effortless elegance. These buildings don't just stand there, they pose. All sweeping lines, bold geometry, ziggurat setbacks, and that hint of, look at me, I'm the future, confidence. But here's the thing, those same design cues, the ones that made skyscrapers look ready for takeoff, are ticking away on the watches we wear today. And later in this video, I'll show you some watches that absolutely nail that Art Deco aesthetic, from under £1,000 all the way up to the creme de la creme. The early 20th century was a time of seismic change. The First World War had just ended, and people were desperate for something new, fresh, optimistic and modern. After years of hardship, the 1920s roared to life with jazz, bobbed hair, champagne and a collective belief that the future was going to be absolutely dazzling. Gone were the ornate twisting flourishes of Art Nouveau. All those flowing flowers suddenly looked terribly old-fashioned. In came bold geometry, symmetry and speed. It was the age of the machine, motor cars, aeroplanes, skyscrapers piercing the clouds, electricity lighting up the night, and Art Deco became the visual language of that optimism. The movement took its name from the 1925 Paris Expo, where designers from across the world came to gather to show off their sleek, modern creations, streamlined furniture, sculptural buildings, even glamorous everyday objects. If it could be made geometric and polished, it was. And right in the middle of all that, ticking quietly but confidently, was the wristwatch. Let's talk architecture for a moment, because this is where Art Deco really flexed its muscles, and I mean that literally. Buildings started looking like they'd been doing press-ups. Take the Chrysler building in New York. Completed in 1930, a 319-metre tall sculpture of brick, steel and sheer audacity. Those famous terrace setbacks climbing towards the sky? They weren't just decorative. They were mandated by New York's 1916 zoning law to let sunlight reach the streets below. But the architects thought, right then, let's make it gorgeous. The result? Dramatic tiers like wedding cake designed by someone very confident and possibly quite competitive. The spire? Stainless steel, gleaming in the sun, decorated with triangular windows in a perfect sunburst. Even the gargoyles are shaped like Chrysler car ornaments. It's maximum drama with perfect symmetry. Then there's the Empire State Building, another deco giant. Sleeker, more vertical, more streamlined. Step inside and it's the same story. Geometric murals, zigzag patterns, polished metals, black and white marble. You weren't just entering a building, you were entering the future. Here in Britain, we had our own deco triumphs. The Hoover building in West London, yes, the vacuum cleaner people, well, it looks like Art Deco film set. White faience tiles, geometric windows and decorative details that absolutely didn't need to be on a factory. But thank goodness they are. The Daily Express building on Fleet Street, black glass facade, chrome strips, pure streamlined glamour for a newspaper office. And this is where it gets interesting for us watch lovers. All those architectural ideas, step forms, geometric patterns, polished and brushed contrasts, that vertical or horizontal rhythm, were being miniaturized and strapped to wrists. Before the war, men mostly carried pocket watches, but soldiers in the trenches started strapping them to their wrists because fishing one out of a waistcoat under artillery fire was, well, impractical, to say the least. After the war, the wristwatch became a symbol of modernity and progress, and in the 1920s, it became fashionable. That's when Art Deco wristwatch was born. Out went the fussy, round Victorian cases. In came rectangles, step sides, stylized numerals, geometric dials and polished metal. Watches became miniature buildings for the wrist. The Cartier Tank, designed in 1917, was inspired by the overhead view of a Renault tank from the Western Front. Simple, linear and powerful. 2 parallel bars connected by a rectangular case. It looked modern, felt modern, and became an instant icon. Louis Cartier even gave one to General Pershing. If your design's good enough for a general, you're onto something. Then came the JLC Reverso in 1931. Built for British polo players in India who kept smashing their watch crystals in mid-match, the solution? Make the case flip over. Elegant, ingenious and pure deco thinking. Solve a problem beautifully. What's really fascinating is how architecture and watch design weren't just related, they were practically twins. The step case of the Reverso? Compare it to the Empire State Building setbacks. Same geometry, same rhythm. Those sunburst gouache dials? Echoes of elevator doors, theatre ceilings and the Chrysler spire. The contrasting metals, polished steel against brushed surfaces, yellow gold against white, straight from the deco interiors where chrome met ebony and lacquer. Even the typography matters. Those elongated numerals on the deco dials are the same you'd see on a cinema facade or department store sign. It was all one visual language. If the Chrysler building could wear a watch, it would absolutely be a Reverso, probably with a sunburst dial and a champagne crocodile strap, and it would look magnificent. Then came 1929. The stock market crashed. The Great Depression hit, and the champagne-fueled optimism of the Jazz Age suddenly felt out of place. But design adapts. Art Deco evolved into what we now call streamlined moderne. Sleeker, simpler, more aerodynamic. Less about opulence, more about hope and motion. Buildings became more horizontal, more curved. Chrome and glass replaced heavy ornamentation. It was Deco's practical, humbler, younger sibling. And meanwhile, in Germany, Bauhaus was quietly shaping its own vision of modernity. Clean lines, pure function, design as something democratic. 2 movements with the same heartbeat, just different tempos. Watchmakers followed suit. Cases got slimmer, dials cleaner, designs more refined. The exuberance stayed, but distilled, perfected. That's the lasting magic of Art Deco. It wasn't just about style, it was about resilience, finding beauty in progress, even when times were hard. All right, enough skyscrapers. Let's bring that design down to wrist level. Let's look at some watches that carry the Deco DNA. First, under £1,000, there's the Hamilton American Classic Ardmore or the Bolton Quartz at around £500 to £650. Straight out of the 1930s playbook, and I mean that as a compliment, rectangular cases, stylized numerals, elegant simplicity. The Ardmore leans more contemporary with crisp lines and subtle detailing. The Bolton, though, pure vintage. Curved case, elongated indices, and the kind of charm you'd expect from a Hollywood star in 1935. Hamilton was making watches during the actual Deco period, so this isn't retro cosplay, it's genuine heritage. They're elegant, affordable, and make you want to mix a gin martini and put on a jazz record, and maybe step into the lobby of the Chrysler building. Then we move on to between £1,000 and £4,000. We have the Longines DolceVita or Nomos Tetra, but at about 1,800 to 2,300. In the mid-range, the Longines DolceVita is about as deco as it gets. Rectangular case, Roman numerals, perfect symmetry. It practically winks at you while wearing a dinner jacket. But if you prefer something more minimalist, well, the Nomos Tetra channels the same geometry through a Bauhaus lens. Cleaner, quieter, more restrained. It's like Art Deco went to design school in Dessau and discovered negative space and learned to chill out. And at the top end, at around £9,500, there's the JLC Reverso. It was designed in 1931 and is still made today, and is still one of the most recognisable watches ever built. This isn't just a watch, it's a monument. Everything about it is deco perfection. The rectangular form, the horizontal gadroons, the sense of balance between beauty and utility. Flipping the case over is endlessly satisfying, like opening a perfectly weighted deco door. The duo face gives you 2 dials, 2 time zones, and double the glamour. Proof that humans can make beautiful, clever things even when the world's complicated. From the Jazz Age to today, Art Deco has been more than style. It's a symbol of optimism, precision and progress. It's about believing beauty and function aren't opposites, they're partners. Architecture gave us buildings that reached for the sky. Watchmaking gave us tiny machines that captured that same spirit on our wrists. So, next time you strap on a rectangular watch or walk past an Art Deco building, take a moment, look up or down and appreciate that you're seeing the same design conversation echoed a century later, between big design and small design, between steel and stone, between the monumental and the intimate. Because style may change, but good design, well, good design never goes out of time. Over to you then. What other watches capture the Art Deco spirit for you? Any modern designs that channel those 1920s and 30s vibes? Let me know in the comments below. I'm always on the lookout for watches that channel their inner skyscraper.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps more history lovers find the channel. Thanks for watching.